Video is out of Karmelo Anthony stabbing Austin Metcalf. These white folks speaking about what they seen. They not going, bro. 1000%. When you vilify us and we are innocent, the noise not gonna be the same.
You're scrolling through your feed when the headline stops you cold. Karmelo Anthony's parents, already indicted for first-degree murder, are now being forced to refund GoFundMe donations. The same campaign that tugged at people's emotions, claiming legal persecution and painting their family as victims, is now under fire for misleading thousands. And now, the truth is unraveling in real time. You picture the campaign's main image, Karmelo's mother in tears, his father with a hand on her shoulder. The caption underneath read, "Help us fight this injustice." At the time, it pulled in over $180,000 in just a few days. Comments flooded in. Strangers poured their hearts out. But no one donating ever expected the twist that would follow. Because just a week later, prosecutors dropped the bombshell in court. Not only were the parents indicted for first-degree murder, but a video had surfaced, paired with text messages that shattered their claims of innocence. Allegations of premeditation, cover-ups, and now, public manipulation. GoFundMe issued a public statement hours after the indictment hit national news. This fundraiser is under investigation for violating our terms of service. Donors are being notified, refunds are being processed, and that's when the floodgates opened. People started combing through the page, posting screenshots of updates, old edits, deleted comments. The top donor, a retired teacher from Georgia, posted, "I feel disgusted. They told us one story. Turns out it was all fake." The campaign's entire comment section was eventually locked, and the original organizer, believed to be Karmelo's cousin, deleted their account. Courtroom cameras even caught the moment the judge referenced the fundraiser during pre-trial discussion, questioning its authenticity and timing. You could see Karmelo's mother lower her head, lips pressed into a thin line. His father clenched his jaw, no words. And now people are asking, if they lied about the fundraiser, what else have they been hiding? Would you still believe them if you had donated? You're sitting in the courtroom when the judge looks up from the file and asks the prosecution to clarify the timeline of the fundraiser. That's when everything shifts. A previously undisclosed document is entered into evidence, a direct message exchange between Karmelo's parents and their cousin, who launched the GoFundMe campaign. The texts are short, rushed, and chilling. "We need to get ahead of this now. Say it's for lawyers. Don't mention the video. Once it's up, push it through his fan pages." Suddenly, the prosecution's argument hits harder. This wasn't just a family seeking help. It was a deliberate PR strategy launched days before the indictment dropped. The video hadn't even gone public yet, and they were already preparing to weaponize public sympathy. The room goes still as the prosecutor reads more messages aloud. Karmelo's mother allegedly wrote, "Make sure you mention wrongfully accused. That always works." You're sitting in the courtroom when the judge looks up from the file and asks the prosecution to clarify the timeline of the fundraiser. That's when everything shifts. A previously undisclosed document is entered into evidence, a direct message exchange between Karmelo's parents and their cousin, who launched the GoFundMe campaign. The texts are short, rushed, and chilling. "We need to get ahead of this now. Say it's for lawyers. Don't mention the video. Once it's up, push it through his fan pages." Suddenly, the prosecution's argument hits harder. This wasn't just a family seeking help. It was a deliberate PR strategy launched days before the indictment dropped. The video hadn't even gone public yet, and they were already preparing to weaponize public sympathy. The room goes still as the prosecutor reads more messages aloud. Karmelo's mother allegedly wrote, "Make sure you mention wrongfully accused. That always works." A faint gasp echoes from the gallery. Now it's not just about murder. It's about manipulation on a national scale. A family using their son's notoriety to gather support, money, and outrage, all while evidence behind closed doors told a darker story. Journalists scrambled to update their headlines. The local station airs a special report that night titled, "Fraud and Felony, the Anthony Family Fallout." Online, backlash spreads like wildfire. Former supporters of the GoFundMe begin deleting their tweets of support. Some go further, demanding legal action. A well-known podcast host posts, "This isn't just unethical, it might be criminal. If they lied to get that money, That's wire fraud. Meanwhile, in court, Karmelo's father won't make eye contact with anyone. His lawyer whispers something in his ear, but he doesn't respond. You can almost feel the air grow heavy with regret. And now people are wondering, was the GoFundMe really for legal help or hush money to keep someone quiet? If you were the judge, would you allow that fundraiser to stay online? You hear the bailiff call for order, but the courtroom is already a powder keg. A financial analyst, subpoenaed as an expert witness, takes the stand with a neatly stacked binder, every dollar of the GoFundMe tracked and categorized. What he reveals next leaves the room stunned. Out of the $112,000 raised, less than $9,000 went to legal expenses. The rest, a mix of luxury hotel stays, jewelry purchases, and a $6,300 deposit made at a Mercedes dealership. The receipts are displayed on a large monitor, each line item time-stamped and linked to a shared bank account between Karmelo's parents. You glance at the jury. One woman presses her lips together. Another shakes her head in disbelief. Then the prosecution drives it home with a photo. Karmelo's mother, smiling in front of the new SUV, time-stamped just 3 days after the fundraiser launched. The lead prosecutor steps forward and says, "This wasn't support. They used tragedy as an ATM." Whispers ripple through the audience. Online, the internet turns brutal. Screenshots of the luxury purchases go viral, trending under hashtags like knockoff scam parents and GoFundMe grift. Former donors start demanding refunds. One TikTok creator pulls up a clip from a live stream Karmelo's father did, where he said, "Every cent is going to my son's freedom." That video now sits under a flood of angry comments. You mean freedom from a guilty verdict or from accountability? Disgusting. I want my money back. Behind the scenes, GoFundMe issues a quiet statement. They've paused withdrawals and are conducting an internal review. And now fans, critics, and casual observers are all asking the same thing. If they had nothing to hide, why spend thousands on comfort? Not the case. Would you believe their remorse if it came with a diamond necklace and new rims? You're seated in the second row as the courtroom screen flickers to life again. This time, showing a reel of apology videos the Anthony family had posted on their private Facebook page weeks before the indictment. At first glance, they seem heartfelt. Karmelo's mother wipes away a tear. His father's voice cracks. But when the prosecution pauses the video and zooms in on the backdrop, a luxury kitchen with marble counters and fresh white orchids, the tone in the room shifts. The prosecutor asks, "Does this look like hardship?" The jury stares at the still frame. One juror writes something down, another folds his arms tightly. That image, lavish surroundings during a murder apology, feels like a slap to the face for the Metcalf family, seated just feet away. Then comes the financial angle. A subpoenaed donation consultant confirms that the family refunded only 14 donors, most of whom had threatened legal action. The remaining thousands of dollars, still unreturned. Roaches of online outrage crawl into the real world. News crews swarm the Anthony residence, and protesters gather with signs reading, "Grief isn't a business. Where's the justice for Metcalf?" And then it gets worse. GoFundMe announces they are freezing all Anthony-linked accounts indefinitely. A spokesperson adds that the company is considering legal action to recover misused funds and protect donor trust. The judge calls a recess. As the room empties, Metcalf's sister whispers to a reporter, "They stole from all of us, not just our family, but every single person who believed them. And now the public is left to weigh the damage. If apologies come wrapped in luxury and lies, how can any of them be real? Would you ever trust a viral fundraiser again?" The prosecution wastes no time. They wheel in a large screen and queue up a compilation of social media posts, texts, and private group messages sent between Karmelo Anthony's parents and their closest supporters. Messages written while Metcalf was still alive. The texts aren't just cold, they're calculated. "We'll let him talk for now, but once he slips, we move. Delete that thread. If anything happens, they'll look. We'll say we were defending ourselves. Let him be the aggressor." As the words appear on screen, the gallery murmurs. A woman in the back audibly gasps. Even the defense attorney doesn't object. He just leans back and rubs his temple, as if realizing this may be a losing battle. But what breaks the room isn't the messages, it's the audio. A voice recording plays, shaky, muffled, but unmistakably Karmelo's mother. She's speaking with someone off-screen. It has to look like self-defense. That's the only way this doesn't bury us all. the courtroom falls dead silent. Metcalf's parents don't cry this time. They just stare, stone-faced, at the people who once embraced their son like family. On social media, clips of the audio go viral within hours. TikTok is flooded with commentary, analysis, and reactions from former friends, neighbors, even ex-coaches. Premeditated begins trending, and with it comes a flood of outrage. This wasn't a mistake, it was a plan. And now the question being asked in living rooms and comment sections across the country is chilling. If this kind of planning went on behind closed doors, what else are they hiding? Would you believe any part of their story after hearing that? You're sitting at home scrolling through your phone when a breaking update sends a jolt down your spine. GoFundMe has officially frozen and refunded over $240,000 raised for Karmelo Anthony's family. The same campaign that once pulled at the public's heartstrings has now become a symbol of betrayal. You click the link and see the notice. This fundraiser has been removed due to confirmed violations of GoFundMe's terms of service following a criminal indictment involving the beneficiaries. The comments are brutal. One reads, "I donated my rent money thinking they were victims. They used it to lawyer up and buy a BMW." Another, "Refund received, but the emotional damage? Still here." You scroll further and find screenshots, photos of the family allegedly vacationing, shopping, and dining out in the weeks after the fundraiser launched. Someone even uncovered records of a $10,000 payment for consulting services that now appears to be hush money. Inside the courtroom, the prosecution references this development directly. They show bank statements and GoFundMe withdrawal records. It becomes clear this wasn't just money for survival. It was fuel for a carefully crafted public image. The judge pauses the proceedings to address the matter. His words are sharp. This court acknowledges the misuse of public donations and the ethical violation therein. While not directly tied to the murder charges, it paints a disturbing picture of intent. Karmelo's parents sit frozen. In that moment, the damage stretches far beyond a courtroom. You can feel it across communities, across the internet. People who once stood with the family are now questioning everything. And now the public is demanding something more than refunds. They're asking, should raising money under false pretenses become its own criminal charge? Would you feel deceived or complicit? You hear the gavel slam, sharp, final, echoing through the courtroom like a coffin lid closing. The judge looks down over his glasses, eyes heavy with what can only be described as disappointment more than rage. The final ruling isn't just about prison time anymore. It's about image. It's about shame. It's about a community betrayed. Karmelo Anthony's parents, once seen as grieving figures at candlelight vigils, now stand as central villains in a story that unraveled piece by piece. First, it was the indictment, then the leaked texts, then the video, then the GoFundMe fallout, and now they are being officially barred from running or benefiting from any public fundraising platform ever again. The courtroom gasps. One prosecutor stands and reads from a list of expenses allegedly paid for using GoFundMe donations, spa retreats, premium legal counsel, and even private security for appearances at rallies. They built a castle on a foundation of blood and lies, she says. You glance around and see former supporters with their heads down. Some are crying, some are filming. A woman who once defended them online is now seen shaking her head, whispering, "I can't believe I vouched for them." The ripple effect is already hitting social media. Hashtags like #JusticeForAustin and #RefundThePeople are trending. Influencers who once promoted the family's story are now issuing apologies. Even local politicians are scrambling to distance themselves. And through it all, the Metcalf family sits in silence. They've said little during the entire trial, but as the sentence is read, Austin's mother finally speaks. "All we ever wanted was the truth. Now the whole world knows." And now, the public is left to grapple with a chilling realization. How many other stories, how many other fundraisers have we believed without question?